I'm going to stream it up there too. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Godey. We are at Super One. It is the 19th annual DART RadioThon on Q94.1. Number to remember to use, 513-9373, 513-9373. Out of town, that's a 318 area code. 318-513-9373. You can make an online contribution simply by going to the website, the resource site of DART. It is dartla.org, dartla.org. And we are continuing here until 6 o'clock. Matter of fact, pacing very well. Community is showing strong. Talking about men standing strong, I'm talking with Terry Queen Autrey. 38,000. Here we are, just past the midway mark, and you've got to be encouraged about it. Well, Terry, you know this. I'm happy about it, but I'm also sad about it because I wish you guys never needed to be here.
It would be good if we did not need a DART.
That's right.
But we do, unfortunately.
That's right. So talk about, this is one of the major fundraiser for DART. So talk about the resources where all this money goes into that helps not only lives but legacies.
Okay. Radiothon is necessary because the fact of the matter is that any grant we have gets reductions, and not every single year, but for example this year we lost over $29,000 from certain grants that were just cut. And then in addition to that, grants have rules about what you can spend their money on. So in some cases you can only use it for people who are, go ahead, Kurt. You can only use it for people who are direct service. In other words, you can only use it for operations, paying for electricity or something like that. But there are things and needs that arise that are not covered by grants, and we have to have some extra funds to cover those needs. And some of them are, for example, maintenance of the shelter. So we might get a grant that covers utilities or even food for the shelter, but we may not get maintenance done. Well, our shelter is a 1927 built home. And so as if you've lived in an older home, I know I do, and I think you have, they need work. You know, they have to have repairs and renovations made. We had a plumbing system go out, those kind of things. And then in addition, we have to have the cost of something like our surveillance system at our shelter.
So all the money's raised gets recycled back into protecting lives. And by the way, if this is the day that you're going to make the escape, make the decision to get out, he or she, call this number, 888-411-1333, 888-411-1333. DART is fully equipped to take care of you and your children. Know that because, Terry, you know that. You've seen success stories.
Oh, we have. In fact, we had a woman come in today that DART helped over 20 years ago. And when we helped her, she didn't know that she had been abused. She got married when she was 16. She had no idea that what was being done was abuse. But she stayed throughout her children's lives because she had heard horror stories of leaving your abuser, them hiring an attorney and getting your kids, or killing your kids, as we have 4 child silhouettes in front of the Civic Center this month. And so she finally left her abuser and came to DART. And Tracy Brockman was her counselor, and she said that she stayed with us for a couple of months, and then she moved to our transitional home for a couple of months, and then she got her mother and moved into her very first apartment she ever had herself. And her mom only died in January, but when her mother died, she found a copy of her protective order in her mother's purse because her mom wanted to be sure that if any time, and now it had been by then 19 years, but they always thought they were always looking over their shoulder for him. And she just found out that he died 2 years ago and she never knew it. And she called us up and said, I want to thank DART, I'm finally free. And so
318-513-9373. That's the number to call in for your pledge if you want to do it online. Dartla.org, dartla.org. And Terry, back in the beginning, the Ruston Mayor's Commission for Women was in 1991, preceding DART. Started here locally, but you serve, 7 parishes?
We serve 7 parishes now.
Right.
We started off with just Lincoln, then we added Union, and then Jackson Parish, and then we added Claiborne and Bienville. And then in 2012, a shelter program in Alexandria closed, and they divided up the parishes, and we got Wynn and Grant.
Wynn and Grant. And if I heard you correctly. So people that are listening, and by the way, this is a stimulation day for the Radiothon to stimulate people to give today, but they may not see our book or Facebook till later. They can make a contribution at any point in time, but monies raised in grant would stay in grant, or are you that?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Each of the parishes has their own Radiothon fundraiser of some sort, and usually we do this event in the spring. And so some of the programs had their events in the spring this year. We made the decision after the tornado to move it to the fall because we couldn't do it in the spring with the devastation in town.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year was COVID, and we canceled it altogether. And last year was our first year to come back, and we decided now that we are free to raise funds during the United Way's fundraising campaign, that it would be good to have it around the fall when we enter Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
well, and here's something that goes against logic, that in I guess a paradigm of thinking that if I give to this one organization, that won't let that other organization get money. But that's not the case. They've actually shown that when you combine a lot of giving in the same time, a lot more money gets raised for a lot more causes.
You're exactly right.
It's amazing. It just defies logic. But so, I don't know why I brought that up, but just keep on giving. Give us some sordid, sobering statistics.
I've got a sheet of paper of those, but you know what? I'm just going to do the ones I remember because I don't have that sheet right now. Well, first of all, a statistic I got this year that really, really floored me was that 100 children a year lose a parent to domestic violence in Louisiana. So 100 children a year have a parent who's killed as a result of domestic violence.
That's more than one per parish, knowing that.
I mean, I was floored to learn that. So that's one statistic that's newer for us. Impact on children. If you are a child living in a home where domestic violence is present, you have a 1,500% greater chance of being abused or neglected than in a home where domestic violence is not occurring. And what that means to me is mom and dad are so wrapped up in what's happening to them, the dilemma, the combat, the all the issues they have, that they can't concentrate on their kids. So maybe if the kids are even lucky enough not to be abused as well, they are being neglected, but they might also be being abused by the abuser of the family. You know, so that's another one that I think is really gripping.
Sure enough. Put Terry to work as we try to put her out of work. Put Chris Barney to work as we try to put them out of work. And put your fingers to work right now. Call 513-9373, 513-9373, area code 318, or go online, dartlove.org, dartlove.org. When we come back, we're going to visit with Michell Allen-Casell, the Senior Marketing Director, Origin Bank, and a former member of the DART Board of Directors. When we return, keep up the good work, y'all. Call that number. Let's hit that goal and exceed that goal. We are live on location at Super One Rick Godey on Really Country